Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of a Nation United Finland edition with the Espoo Eagles. New era, same result, kind of. By that, of course, I mean we are back in the postseason. Here's hoping we don't get swept. That would suck. But yeah, we're back in the playoffs, and anything can happen. This season, of course, was about the ridiculous amount of changes we made in the offseason, where we had very few players actually remaining. And still in this playoffs, for this team, we have a lot of guys who are trying to prove that it wasn't, regular season, the regular season wasn't a fluke, which, we've had players like that before, where, hey, you do really well in the regular season, and you disappeared in the playoffs. Thanks. We have other people trying to prove to me, and to you, to us, that they should not be traded after a disappointing regular season. It's interesting, because it's as much about the individual success as it is about the team success. Although, I don't know if I feel confident in this team, actually. I suppose that's going to depend on what the Buffalo Sabres look like. We are listed as a rebuilder still, too, which I feel is disrespectful and disappointing. The Sabres, at this point, look like this, and, we might just have the advantage here. It's at least close. We start off with Cyrus Schultz, who was a first-round pick back in the day, Jack Eichel, and Jeff Skinner, who is 36 at this point. Again, 87, 91, and an 81. Second line, 84, 90, and an 84. It's Matthew Boldy, who was drafted by Carolina initially. Sebastian Aho, the almost Hab, and Riley Tufte. Third line of Johan Lundstrom, who was a first-round pick of the Winnipeg Jets. Josh Norris, and Kasper Bjorkqvist. Because we can't possibly play a team in the playoffs without facing former Finns who disappointed us. Manny Siu, Nick Bjugstad, or as Don Cherry once called him, Nick Ballstead, and Julian Gauthier. Again, high-end talent with Eichel and Aho. They probably have the advantage, but in terms of the well-rounded nature of both teams, I'd say it's about even. Defensively, kind of the same thing. They probably have the advantage because they have the best defenseman in the series, that being Rasmus Dahlin. But Rasmus Sandin, he didn't turn into an amazing defenseman like he may in real life at this point. Carl Martinek, Carl Marshall, Carl connection, and then Pedro Huskins with Ryan Collins on that third pairing. We know that they had Luukkonen at one point, because that's who we stole away. But who do they have now? They have Andrei Vasilevsky. Great. Good for you. God. There are people who are like, man, that was a bullshit move, what you did, taking Luukkonen away from Buffalo. They would have never traded him. Whatever will they do now? They'll go out and get Vasilevsky and then end up with a franchise goaltender. I think they survived just fine, especially considering we didn't win shit with Luukkonen. So that's just wonderful. Middlestat, Heinen, and Murray as healthy scratches. Good God. Let's get this series underway, shall we? Because I just don't feel good about this. They got Vasi between the pipes. He might be in his mid-30s, but it's still Andrei Vasilevsky. They have former members of our team. It just doesn't feel like a good thing's going to happen here, but here we go. First period of Game 1 is scoreless. Okay. Second period is not. 2 goals apiece, Eichel and Schultz, but we do battle back. 2 goals in under a minute, Jokinen and Jokela. So this is anybody's game. That's solved absolutely nothing. We proved to ourselves that we can beat Vasilevsky and scored 2 quick goals in quick order, in quick fashion, as we waste a power play there, as is tradition for this team in the third period of a playoff game. The next goal is going to win this game, but will it come in regulation? The answer is no. Overtime in Game 1 of Round 1. Who's the winner gonna be? Don't know. Let's hope it's a Finn that's on our team, please. You see, EA, how I specified. Thank you. Overtime. Who's it going to be? Come on, Lambert. Come on. No. Yes. There we go. It's Peltonen who gets the winning goal. It was going so poorly until it wasn't. We take advantage of the power play. Peltonen gets the winner. And we have a 1-0 series lead on the Buffalo Sabres. Hakkarainen with a first-star performance with 39 saves. It's what you love to see from a unproven goaltender. And that is exactly what he is. Although I do want to point out here, Kapari, Asplund, and Ramo, that third line. Yeah, I'm going to need something better from you there, pals. Thank you, especially Ramo. You are on thin ice. Unfortunately, there's no alternative to be like, oh, yeah, thick with 5 C's. There's no alternative for thin, yeah. Thin with a capital T. As in, get some goddamn points or you're off my team. Second game of this series. This has already been a weird one, but that's okay. We are marching on. We're marching forward. We're really going for it here. First period. And again, it's okay. It's all right. Norris and Kapanen with the goals. 19 shots to 4, mind you. So that is a major victory for the Sabres to be tied still. Incredibly disappointing for us. Second period. All right. Well, there you go. If you're one that's tracking the amount of size per episode, my size per 60, out of control. And yeah, if we're gonna be killing someone in shots and then get outscored 2-0 in the next period, that is going to result in even more size. So many. Third period, is there a comeback effort on the cards? There was a joke to be made there about a 2012 meme, but you know what? We'll ignore it. Jokinen scores again. We are back to within, and it's over. Well, you know, Jokinen scores again. Power play for Buffalo. It's not over yet. Is there another Jokinen? My God. They are on fire. Are we going to overtime for the second game in a row? Yes, we are. Gotta love it. 4-all. Heading into overtime, 42 shots to 29. If we had gotten just a little bit better of an effort out of Hakkarainen, we would have won this game in regulation. But Jokinen and Jokela have carried us through. Can we get the win in overtime? Can we take a 2-0 series lead back with us to our beautiful home nation? Although I will say, yet again, a Finnish player on our team. Thank you very much, EA, for listening to my specifications. Overtime. Who's it gonna be? No. Yes, please. Jokinen scores again. He is unbelievable. And for the second game in a row, we win it in overtime on a power play. The hat trick for Jokinen, a 3-point night for Jokela, and a 2-0 series lead for the Eagles. Well done. Back-to-back overtime wins. On the power play, too, those game-winning goals. Mika Jokinen has 5 points in 2 games. Decent. That top line working pretty well together. Although, I mean, Ludman and Lambert each have 2 points. But Jokinen and Jokela, I mean, the top 6 delivering. It's like, what happens if you put the 2 superpowers together? Who the hell knows? I mean, they did technically play together on the second line for the majority of the season. That third line, Petri Ramo's done. I'm throwing it out there now. You're done. You're done. So I don't know if it's going to be if we call up Hirnez or Lamala. Probably won't be Martens just yet, and it won't be Lamico. It's not going to be Suomala. Do we have anybody scratched that should not be in terms of higher rated players? I want to explore all options here, but yeah, Ramo's off the team. And, you know, all things considered, that's the first person that we've really gotten, at least in terms of forwards, where I'm like, okay, they're off the team. We know they're not going to work for us. So it's not too bad, considering the amount of new players we brought on. So we have Joakim Lumala, who last year had 29 points in 82 games. This season, 67 points in 82 games in the AHL. Mika Pirnez put up 34 points last year, had 97 at the AHL level this year. And Vikola had 22 points last year, 67 points this year. So the obvious shout here is Pirnez or Lumala. That just seems to be the way to go. Suomala, of course, the last time we let him play, he was terrible. And Otto Koivula's not bad, but not the preferred option. So it's Pirnez or Lumala, both of whom are on expiring deals. I feel like I don't know who it should be, I gotta be honest. Both are decent options. The fact that Pirnez can play center, though, is kind of nice. I don't know if we necessarily need a center. Oh, God. I'm tempted to go with Lumala. He's more of an offensive threat, whereas Pirnez is a bit better defensively. They both have about the same physicality. Let's go for Mika Pirnez, because technically we're going to a third line option. I'll probably play him on the fourth and bump up one of the members of the fourth line to a third line spot. So it'll be best lines down in the AHL for now. We know that Ville Norinen could put up points. He's the guy that put up a hell of a lot of assists. He had 37 points this season. Hämäläinen had 25 points, but I want to get Samu Louis back onto a higher line. So that is what we are going to look to do. So it is going to be Pirnez onto the fourth line, and we will have Samu Louis fill in. Now he's still going to be listed as a grinder, which is not the worst thing in the world. He's actually not a better center than who we have. So let's go with that for now. Samuel Louis will be up to the third line. Pirnez is in. And I know, making changes to the lineups when we're winning, I know it's some people's biggest pet peeve of what I do, but it's the third line. I don't think you can argue, too, that they were ineffective. I'd like to think it's not going to damage the team that much. If it does, well, then, damn it. But we go to this third game. We are on home ice. Of course, we were on a tear, winning 7 out of our last 10, heading into the playoffs, and we have continued our winning ways thus far. Can we get a win on home ice, though? This seems like the series that would have it be the home team always loses up to like game 6 or 7. Let's hope that's not the case. Let's see if we can take that commanding 3-0 series lead. First period, Buffalo gets the lone goal. Sebastian Aho doing what he could not do for us for the most part. Second period is scoreless, and I'm now officially concerned as we are absolutely killing them in terms of shots yet again. But we have not been able to beat Vasilevsky. Power play chance here for the Sabres is thankfully killed off. We need a goal here, and we get it. Brad Lambert has tied this game. As we go over the halfway point of the period, can we get a goal in regulation, or are we going to overtime for the third straight game to start this series? Overtime it is! So much extra hockey. My God. Goal apiece, though, Aho and Lambert. And again, EA, I will say, Finnish player on our team specifically. Thank you. Overtime is the go. Who will win Game 3? The answer is Buffalo. Julien Gauthier. 46 shots to 32, but 2-1 on the board. The Sabres win it and keep this series close. Not a great game for Hakkarainen. A tremendous game for the veteran Andrei Vasilevsky. And this series is now 2-1 in our favor. And if we lose this game, it is going to be tremendously disappointing because, again, so many times we've seen, okay, the home team's not going to win. The road team's not going to win. It's just how it goes. Let's see what happens here, though. First period of Game 4 is scoreless. I'm still worried about our sudden troubles in terms of scoring goals. Second period, oh boy, Matt Boldy, Osplund, and Aho. 2-1 lead for the Sabres. Is there another third period comeback on the cards? Siu makes it 3-1 in favor of the Sabres. As though, I was going to say though, as Jokinen scores, although we still had time. Power play chance for Buffalo yet again. That's killed off. Is there a late tying goal to send us to overtime for the 4th straight game? There is not. And my worst fear has come true. Buffalo takes game 4 by the score of 3-2. They tie the series up at 2 games apiece. And it appears to be that trend of the home team just doesn't win. So this is anybody's game. Game 5 is always a toss-up after those first 4 games when a series starts like this. It's incredibly disappointing. But we'll have to try and make the best of it. That third line's been doing okay. The fourth line, not too much to speak of. The secondary scoring hasn't been there, though. We've had 1 point from the bottom 6, so something has to change. And I'm not sure what that's going to be. I'm almost tempted to have Mika Pirnez on the third line because of his offensive awareness. Kupari was fine in the regular season. We know Samu Louis can typically score. Something has to change. And I think what we're going to do is go with Pirnez, Louis, and Norinen. Best center out of the group being Samu Louis. The best shots, probably Norinen. And then the fourth line will be Asplund, Kupari, and Hämäläinen. And then that top 6, Kapanen has just 2 points, 4 points for Jokela. I didn't think this would be happening. Kapanen can play center, can Ludman. Kind of. We are going to go. Can Jokela play? Yeah, Jokela has the slight face-off advantage. We're going to go with Jokinen, Jokela, Lambert, who have arguably been our best players thus far. And we'll go Kapanen, Ludman, Kiprusoff as we shake up the top 6 and put the 3 best players that we've had on the same line to see what they can do. For the defense, it's been, at least in terms of the plus-minus, it's been fine. And again, how I wish we had more to go off of. Hakkarainen with a 923. We need a little bit more out of that, out of him, if we are going to find success. That is what this team's going to look like. Let's do this. It is Game 5 back in Buffalo, and we are in desperate need of a win. Here we go. First period, Sabres get the opening goal. It's Schultz. 12 shots to 14. They actually had the edge there that time. Second period, good God. Skinner and Boldy, it is 3-0, and the Sabres are 20 minutes away from having a 3-2 series lead after winning 3 consecutive games. Wow. We started things off so well with those overtime wins. This one's over. 4-0 final. Nick Ballstead with the goal. God bless you, Don Cherry. 4-0. The offense has completely disappeared as Andrei Vasilevsky has gotten his game under control. And unless we pull off a miracle here to force Game 7, it is going to be another playoff disappointment. Not that I was expecting much with this team, but I was hoping for better than this. My God. Okay. Oh God. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. This sucks. I think what we're going to do, Asplund has kind of sucked. Kapanen and Kipper go down to the third line. Jokela goes back to the second line. When in doubt, Lambert, Louis Ludman is the only way to go. Or Louis Lambert, Ludman. And then it'll be Pirnez, Jokela, and Jokinen on the second line out of pure desperation. Third line, I'm not sure who's going to play where. It's going to be Kapanen at center, so we'll have Kipper on the right. And then again, Norinen, Kupari, Hämäläinen. Defensively, that top pairing has to change. The problem is, everyone else works relatively well together. So it'll be... I don't even know what it'll be. I want to leave Tiervainen and Toskala together. I don't know what to do with these guys. Kurvainen, again, 34 points, a plus 10. Virtanen, 30 points. I mean, those extra pairings work so well together. So I think we'll just drop Peltonen and Tiervainen's minutes. And damn it, we'll see what happens. We should be good enough to beat Buffalo on paper. You could argue that we shouldn't, and that this team isn't ready yet to be a true contender. But, man, we're better than this, aren't we? I guess we're going to find out. First period of Game 6 is scoreless. Second period is not. Boldy gets the opening goal just 52 seconds into the period, but Hämäläinen and Jokela with the goals. We have a 2-1 lead with 20 minutes to go in regulation. Can we force Game 7 is the question. Early power play goal for Tiervainen. It's 3-1. Can we hold on? Losing this game here, whether in regulation or in overtime, would be a disaster. And with 5 minutes left, I think that concern's out the window. The Eagles bounce back. We take Game 6 by the score of 3-1 to stay alive. We are going to Game 7. A huge effort from Hakkarainen. He gets the job done. And it goes down to a decisive Game 7 because of course it does. Why would it not? Every series in the West is done. Out of the winning sides, only 3 games were lost. There were 2 sweeps. In the East, I mean, hell, and just in general, where the last series left. The winner of this game will go on to play the Ottawa Senators in round 2. Let's see what happens. Are the Eagles moving on, or will we ultimately lose a series in disappointing fashion? First period, and the early advantage to the Sabres. We put up just 5 shots after, I believe, putting up 16 through the first period of Game 6. Riley Tufte with that goal. Second period, it's 2-1. Tufte made it 2-0, but Kapanen was able to get us back into it with a goal from center ice. Actually, Tufte's goal was from center ice. And we go to the third, a 2-1 lead for the Sabres. Is there an early goal here from the Finns to put the pressure on? Oh boy, come on. We can do this. We're good enough. Power play chance. It goes to waste. Under 8 minutes left, and Asplund gets the goal. We are tied. Pirnez scores. 3-2. I was going to say, are we going to overtime? We are not. That happened so quickly, I didn't even want to hit the start button. Asplund, Pirnez, and an empty net goal from Hämäläinen. The Finns are moving on. Something I don't think any of us expected. But a 3-goal third period sees us through. We take Game 7 against Buffalo. And we are moving on to the second round, where we will be taking on the Ottawa Senators. How do you like that? Certainly unexpected. Now, we will have a challenge against Ottawa. Although we did just take out the top team in the Atlantic, who's to say we can't beat the second best team in the Atlantic from this season? But what a start for Mika Jokinen and for Esa Jokela, even though the defensive side of things really started to fall apart from him. You see Kapanen, Asplund, and Kiprusoff up there as well. We need a bigger and better performance from Lambert, and in particular, Tommy Ludman. 2 points in 7 games. It is a miracle that we made it through. Samu Louis also not exactly performing at a high level. Ludman, 14 shots, no goals. 11 shots, no goals for Samu Louis. Defensively, I mean, we know our guys aren't the best point getters in the world, but between Peltonen and Tiervainen, it was rough defensively. Goaltending-wise, though, Juha Hakkarainen a 9.29, just good enough to see us through. The Eagles are moving on. The second round last year is where we were absolutely stomped out by Columbus, so I can't say I'm overly confident, but we'll see what lies ahead. What's in store for the Eagles here in this playoff run. You have the Islanders and Devils, Preds, Stars, Sharks, and Golden Knights also in the semi-final. I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think, mainly in terms of line combinations after seeing the stats that were put up through the first round. I think, again, we don't exactly have lines that are set in stone right now. We're still trying to figure out what this team is, what they're going to be, and who kind of fits in where with this squad. So let me know if you have any suggestions. I will see you in the next one, where we'll probably be swept because I'm talking with a little bit of optimism.